Hello, and welcome to the second quarter episode of Backlight Boston, presented by Luminarium Dance Company. This quarter, we have Tony Williams joining us. I hope you enjoy the interview. Joining us this week, we have Tony Williams, the founder of the Tony Williams Dance Center and the Tony Williams Urban Nutcracker. Tony, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
So I hear, coming soon, May 17th, you have some exciting news. Do you want to share that with us?
Sure. I'm going to be launching my Tony Williams Ballet company, and we have an event at my studio at the Tony Williams Dance Center on Sunday, May 17th at 2 o'clock. And we'll be presenting the company there, an informal setting in the studio, have a reception and Q&A. And we'll be performing some of my ballets, and also Gino DeMarco is doing a piece as well for my dance company. And I was also able to persuade Gino's wife, Adriana Suarez, to come out of retirement, and I'm doing a pas de deux for them at that time as well.
That's exciting. So what makes you, decide to start kind of your own ballet company now?
Well, I actually started a company with Jose Mateo. I co-founded the company he has now back in 1985, I think it was. So I've been founding dance companies for the past 30 plus years.
Sure.
And just through the years, you'd have a company, and then for whatever reason, it fizzles out. It's mostly financial, and most recently had a company in 2010, dance company, just with transitions in life and the vicissitudes of life and all that, it sort of fizzled out. But I was thinking that I needed to have like a core group that could perform in the Urban Nutcracker each year, so I don't have to go through the process of having an audition in September and you pick up dancers and you never get who you really want. And so with your own company, you can have your own sort of, have an affinity with those dancers, and they know how you work, and it just works better. So there'll be the core group around which will still have auditions and fill in around that core group, and then, but I think more importantly, I want to have an apprentice company of teens, talented teens that have a passion for dancing, and they would be teens from the city of Boston as well as outside of Boston, and we want to bridge those two parts of the state.
Well, that's great. So you mentioned kind of the Urban Nutcracker, and I know the dance center is based in JP. Mm-hmm. How do you kind of mention bridging that divide between the city and the surrounding communities? How have you been able, through the Urban Nutcracker and this new dance company, how are you going to kind of bridge that divide between the different sections of Boston, and the diversity that there is in the different sections of Boston and the surrounding community?
I thought about that a lot, and one thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be establishing a satellite dance school in Concord, Massachusetts, at the Umbrella, and I used to actually have an adult class that I used to rent space there in the dance space they have, and so I've known about that place for a long time. And so I'm actually on their board of directors now, and they're undertaking this capital campaign to build out the stage, the theater, and the dance studio. They're going to create also a black box, and they're really promoting their performing arts division as part of their mission. They're a nonprofit, and so they invited me onto the board just for my dance experience and what I represent in dance. And so, but even before that, I was thinking to have a satellite someplace out in somewhere, one of the suburbs. and it's sort of, there are two things that are accomplished. One, you have the opportunity to get talented suburban kids, and most of the dancers that we see come from the suburbs, and I've taught in schools in Acton and other places, and it seems like they all flock into Boston, all of those talented kids, to Jose Mateo, to Boston Ballet, to Bosama, to Luminarium, etc. And so I wanted to tap into that talent pool, and I know that talent pool they're strong, and the talent pool in Boston isn't as large. So I thought it would be sort of a very practical thing to combine both of those groups of talented youngsters that love to dance, and practically speaking, some of the parents, we can't go into Boston, but if I have a satellite out somewhere past 128, it'll be a little bit easier. And then they'll also have the experience of coming into Boston to rehearse. And the kids in Boston don't always get out to the suburbs, so it'll be an opportunity for them to spend time out there. So it's a bridge that I'm creating. That's sort of practical, but yet the big picture is like people from different backgrounds getting acquainted with each other and saying, "Oh, we're all the same." Dances are a common denominator here.
So upcoming, you have Dance Across the Ages with Erica Schwartz. You're doing something in June.
Yes, June 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's a Friday, Saturday evening, and Sunday afternoon at Green Street Studio, which is kind of famous in Cambridge.
Yeah.
And I'm retired. I haven't danced in years, and I was sort of approached to be a part of this show, a part of a piece that she was doing. And so I said, "Oh, you just need someone to act, to just sort of be an old guy in it." And it's just, "No, you have to actually do some things, but it's you could do it, don't worry." And so our first rehearsal, I was like sweating and huffing and puffing, and my partner is Andy Taylor, and she said, "Tony, just breathe through your nose." I said, "Oh yeah, I forgot." But it was, it's a modern dance, and I haven't done a modern dance since like 1970. Louis Falco came to Boston Ballet where I danced, and he did something with chicken coops and live chickens on stage, and it was just so strange, and it was kind of fascinating. So I'm up for modern dance. I'm trained as a classical ballet dancer, but this is fun. I'm barefooted, and it's Erica's dance has two couples. We're older. When we were young, we were there, and we're now, and we dance at the same time on stage. It's called Bedtime Stories, and it's kind of very interesting, and it's about love, how love changes through the different facets or time frames of a relationship. This is kind of interesting. And thank God there's this young couple. Andy is like, she's not as old as me, but she's my wife. But she's fabulous. She's as strong as can be. But the young couple are beautiful. Tony Tucker and Marissa. She works at Boston Dance Alliance, which, by the way, is our fiscal agent for all of our community-based work that we do. And then we'll be doing our recital June 14th. And then we're hoping to get some gigs for the dancers. They're already asking, do we have any summer gigs? I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But then we'll be doing the Urban Nutcracker, our 15th year at the John Hancock Hall. This coming December, we'll be back there again. And last year, I just wanted to let folks know we had one show of the Urban Nutcracker that we called our autism friendly show. And is for autism related families. It's not, sometimes it's one child in the family, but the whole family is related with that child with autism, and so it was a fabulous special show that we had. We brought the lights down, and the sound was brought down. It wasn't that loud, and it wasn't sold out, so the families could really have space. and the kids don't like to be cramped in. So we'll be repeating that show again, and that we subsidize that show, and we fundraise around it. And also we'll be doing I'm thinking we'll be doing our Gay Pride show. We do a Gay Pride Urban Nutcracker, and we did it in 2012. And I have one of my students was in the Broadway revival of La Cage aux Folles, and so I had him and another former student of mine from the Boston Conservatory, where I taught some 15 years ago, was in the show as well. So I invited them both to be in the show, and they were both dressed in drag. And it's essentially the Urban Nutcracker, but with some tweaking. And so we'll be doing that in the fall, so just in December, so you could look for that.
Well, it's very exciting. So if anybody wanted to find out more about you or your dance company, the Dance Center, the Urban Nutcracker, how would they do that?
Yeah, just go to twdance.com or urbannutcracker.com.
Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure to talk to you all.
And now, events from the Boston dance community. It's so exciting that Tony Williams is coming out of retirement to perform again. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Tony Williams and that you'll be joining us next quarter for another interview. If you have any questions, you can email us at info@luminariumdance.org, or you can tweet us at Backlight Boston. If you would like to subscribe, you can please click below. Thank you so much.